Peace, family. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday. Oh, not Friday. It's Thursday, September 9th. We back in the building with another episode of Tech Building Podcast. When the devil tries to keep you down, you always show up with the strategy. I pray everybody's doing well today. It's a nice little rainy day in Delaware, so it's nice and cool. I'm appreciating that. It's like summer just went away real quick. I'm not mad at that. The last week or so, 2 weeks, it's been nice and cool outside. But today, hopefully it's not too controversial. Hopefully I don't get beat up too much for this topic. But there are obviously two big album releases recently, last week I believe. We had Donda and we had Certified Lover Boy. So I'm going to start with the Drake offering, Certified Lover Boy. And I'll just get right into it. You know what I mean? It's a lot to cover, so I'll get right into it. So the first thing I'm gonna just start with the album cover. Maybe I should say this first because I don't want it to seem like you know what I mean. The easiest or like one of the quickest things people do is, from what I've experienced, is put your perspective in a box. And what I mean by in a box, meaning not necessarily negative per se, but putting it in a way in which makes sense to them. You know what I mean? So if you're talking about somebody and you're like, okay, well, Tone's a Drake hater, or he just don't like Drake, or you know what I mean? Something along those lines. It allows for my perception to be put in a way that is understandable. You know what I'm saying? It's not coming from a place of, I feel like when you do that, when a person does that, anybody does that, that means you're marginalizing the person's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, of course you feel like that because you don't like this person. Well, of course you feel like that because this person doesn't appeal to you. You know what I mean? When it comes to hip hop especially, I really listen to anybody. You know what I'm saying? From the Jay-Z, Styles P, you know what I'm saying, to the Vince Staples, the Earl Sweatshirts, you know what I mean, to the Smoke Dizzes, the Griselda, you know what I mean, Rick Ross, Southern rappers like Lil Wayne, you know what I mean, B.O.B., T.I. I mean, the list really goes on. Obviously I listen to a lot of UK music, Dave, Little Sims, Kano, you know what I mean, Skepta, you know what I'm saying, it's big one, Heady one, I could keep going down the line. So it's like my hip-hop preference or taste, I really just love hip-hop music. You know what I mean? I love the genre. I really appreciate really any kind of offering. Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a certain type of hip-hop where I'm like, I just don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Drake, I used to rock out with Drake big time. You know what I'm saying? The So Far Gone, Light Up with Jay-Z, Fireworks, I believe Alicia Keys on that song, Fancy, you know what I'm saying? Take Care, Underground Kings, one of my favorite songs. What other song, Rick Ross, I can't remember the name. I think it's Lord Knows, something like that. Crew Love's one of my favorite songs, you know what I mean? Tuscan Leather off of Never Was the Same, I believe. Pound Cake's a great song. You know what I mean? So it's like I have a lot of Drake songs that I like. I don't dislike Drake. You know what I'm saying? I really, really, really don't. And I just feel like today, when you speak negatively in a consistent fashion against somebody, say, okay, well, you just don't like them. You know what I'm saying? That's really one of my biggest pet peeves because I don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't think like that at all. You know what I mean? When I listen to a song, I take it, okay, and I think this is a good also starting point. The way I judge a song, or in particular how I judge a hip-hop song, I really take it from ground zero. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is, when I hear the song, I'm taking in all the different elements of the song from level zero. So it could be like a 2 or 3 sound beat. It could be like a Kanye Hit Boy type of complex beat. You know what I mean? You could be super lyrical. You could be like a Project Pat. I'm taking it from the bottom floor. You know what I mean? So when I hear the beat, it's like, okay. Then when I hear the lyrics, it's like I'm building it up. I never go into listening to an album or an artist with any expectation. So now with that being said, maybe expectation is not the right word. I would say preconceived notion, like whether I'm gonna like it, whether I'm not gonna like it. Maybe I think when I listen to like when I listen to J. Cole, I know I'm gonna like it. You know what I mean? But anyway, but I will say this, and I got this really from battle rap. Everybody has their own, let's say, scale, or everybody has their own range, if you will. You know what I mean? So when I'm listening to Loaded Lux, I know Loaded Lux's, I would say, pen or ability, complexity or whatnot is very high. You know what I'm saying? I know that it's very, very high. So when I'm listening to Loaded Lux, I'm listening to Lux with that type of ear. I'm listening for the entendres. I'm listening for the different cadences. I'm listening for the bars in the bars. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening for all those kind of things. When I'm listening to Tay Rock, who's one of my favorite battle rappers of all time, I know that Tay Rock's range is not the same. I know it's not on that level. You know what I mean? So I'm listening to Tay Rock for what Tay Rock can offer. You know what I mean? So I do have expectation because I know the artist. You know what I'm saying? So I know Loaded Lux is not going to come out there with no, you know what I'm saying, level 1 type rhymes. He's going to come with level, you know what I'm saying, 7, 8, 9, 10 type rhymes. You know what I mean? So I am expecting level 7, 8, 9, 10 type of bars from Lux. But that's not, to me, it's not a negative because that's what he does. That's the level that he's performed at. That's what he's known for. That's what he's going to bring to the table more times than not. So to expect that is really, I'm just expecting somebody to be themselves. And that's really the biggest part of how I judge an album or how I judge an offering. You're being yourself. So now with that being said, I like to hear different types of growth. You know what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't mean that you got to go from when you 20, you rapping about women and parties and clothes, and when you're 30, you got to be rapping about revolution and all this type of stuff like that. It's not like that. I just want to hear that your content, whether it be battle rap or music, is not just the same. You're not rapping the same. You're not offering the same types of schemes and bars. Like, you're just showing a natural type of growth. And it don't got to be drastic. Like I said, you don't got to go back 10 years ago to now and hear two different types of Tay Rocks, for example. You know what I mean? I've just seen that with Tay Rock from the time that he started to now, his bars and his ability has grown. He's done, you know what I'm saying? He's going from one point to another. So when I hear like older artists like a Fabulous or, you know what I mean, Jadakiss, you could tell their music has grown and changed over the times. So I do expect for there to be a certain level of growth. You know what I mean? So yeah, I want to comment on before we really get into the nuts and bolts of the Drake album. I watched the Joe Budden podcast, the review of what they did on the Drake release, and so they were talking about comparing artists to themselves. Excuse me, and the brother Ice was saying that he compares when somebody drops an album or releases a project, he compares them to what they do. You know what I mean? And he keeps it, so to speak, in a vacuum like that. So it's like when Kanye drops, I'm comparing your release to what Kanye has done. So if I give your album a 5 or a 6 or a 10, it's in comparison strictly to what you have released. That's what the brother, you know what I'm saying, that was his perspective on releases. You know what I'm saying? And the brothers like Joe Budden and the other brother was kind of like rebutting. It's like, you're kind of setting the table for now. So he was saying, like, one brother was saying, I believe the brother's name was Ish, he was saying that if LeBron drops a 40-point game, 40-point, 10 rebound, maybe 10 assists, something like that, it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. But then, like, if Andre Iguodala does it for you, know what I'm saying, whatever, then it's like, yo, Andre Iguodala went crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is my perspective on comparing somebody to themselves. Because I definitely do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm comparing you to what the caliber of what you do. But then on the other end of that, the back end of that, and the totality of that, I'm comparing it to what's going on in your environment. You know what I'm saying? So like if LeBron drops a 40-point triple-double, that's still a banging game. Like he still snapped. You know what I'm saying? He got 45, 10, and 10. That's a fantastic game. The result of the game, now this is going too far in the basketball analogy, but the result of the game plays more into LeBron's, I would say, effect because he's of that caliber. You know what I'm saying? But all for the basketball analogy. I go back, so I do compare you to yourself, but then I'm also looking at, okay, what is this amongst the rest of the meta, so to speak? What else? Everything else is going on. So I like to compare artists to themselves because I think that's natural to do so, but I think I'd still juxtapose it to everything else that's still going on. So I'm not going to give another, let's just say for the sake of these two artists, Kanye and Drake, who are at the top, I'm not going to give a lesser artist more kudos for doing something because they were better than themselves than the last album. So I can't sit back and say West Side Gun album is a 9 because he did the best for himself, but Drake album is a 5 because I really wasn't feeling his Drake like that. Now I feel like my scale is it's too drastically different. You know what I'm saying? So those are the components. Those are some of the components that I use to judge an album from a macro perspective. I do compare yourself to you, but then I also look back and I also look at everything else that's going on in the culture. I go into it with the expectation of you're going to be you, and I expect that for there to be some type, shape, or form of growth. Me as a chef, when I was cooking 10 years ago to now, is that you could see a difference. You feel what I'm saying? My ability is more refined. And so yeah, that was really my so I got one more side note that I want to get into, just again to lay the groundwork, to lay the foundation for what I'm going to be getting into. I would like to know, and this go for anybody, I would like to know, what are we doing? Shout out to the original name of the podcast. What are we doing podcast? What are we doing with the ghostwriting element of Drake's career? Hold on, I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. It's like, what are we doing with that part of Drake's career? And I have to say it because I'm saying it like this. I wish I could have asked the brothers on the Joe Budden podcast because they're like in the industry and things like that. So I feel like they would have had a good perspective to give on my opinion. I mentioned before about the Take Care with The Weeknd. You know what I'm saying? You got the Quentin Millers, you got the Party Next Doors, and you know what I'm saying? All these different types of elements in Drake's music, allegedly or unallegedly. I'm not even saying we heard the reference track, whatever the case may be. Drake even made a mention to, I don't think that was on this album. I think that was on the Duppy Freestyle. He was talking about Quentin Miller was working at Kroger double time. He said he was working at Kroger doing double time. Y'all acting like he made the boy, but I was just trying to help the guy. Something like that. If we're sitting back and we're saying, and I say we because I'm just like, if this is the standard of the culture, I'm just about, so I said tech building podcast, like tech building. How are we handling this part as a culture? Excuse me. What are we doing with this element in the culture? You feel what I'm saying? If we're looking at Drake's, whatever the case may be, however we want to put it, the style stealing, you know what I'm saying, or the style imitating, like he from the UK, he from Jamaica, he like just Joe Budden say he's from Croatia, you know what I'm saying, like, and then the ghostwriting, reference tracks, people doing the song. We're taking that and we're putting there, we're saying, okay, I don't care about that. That's a problem for me. You know what I'm saying? Because that to me goes against being an artist, especially in hip hop, where lyricism, the lyrics of your music are most important. In R&B, it's about the voice. In like different types of genres of music, like jazz, rock and roll, things like that, it's more about the instrumentation. In hip hop, it's primarily about what you're saying. So if you are, even what he said to Pusha T, I think on the Duppy freestyle, he was like, pretty much telling Pusha T, you just telling what you knew, not what you did. You feel what I'm saying? So if you are getting these songs, getting these, you know what I'm saying, references built, you know what I'm saying, from these other people, how can I hold you to a high level of being an artist? How can I do that? And with me, everything results in necessarily a question. Because in my mind, I understand the principle of hip hop. One of them is originality. Gotta be original. If you are taking songs, taking lyrics, taking styles from other people, I can't hold you at that high level. Now, we're saying that, if we're saying as a culture, all right, we don't care about that. Everybody does that. Again, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody can sell drugs, but if you get caught, you don't get to take everybody else down with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, there's a word for that. There's a principle that goes against that. You feel what I'm saying? So I would just like to know, what are we doing with that element of Drake's career? It's almost like the Patriots with the cheating. Like, it's almost like because the Patriots were so successful, Tom Brady was so successful, we don't necessarily care about the fact that they were caught cheating multiple times. They were actually penalized from the NFL for bending the rules, breaking the rules of competitiveness, cheating. I don't understand how we overlook that when we're going back and we're talking about the legacy of the Patriots, Tom Brady, and the coach. You know what I'm saying? So in my world, my reality, this is how I break it down. It's like wrestling or acting, like, you know, in a movie. I don't know if you live this lifestyle or you don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. There's no way for us to really know unless you know these people personally. But if you're like in wrestling, if you are making it believable enough, I can rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I can go along with it. People say, yo, Tom, how you like Rick Ross, who's a correctional officer? Excuse me. First off, that was a job. Secondly, this is wrestling. I don't know any of these people. But Rick Ross' character is sold to me enough to say, okay, I like what he's saying. Now, more things come out and expose Rick Ross, then it'll be different. When Quavo got his chain snatched, as a big Migos fan, I was like, okay, wow, yeah, y'all talk about you know what I'm saying, y'all doing this and that in the street, but somebody take your chains, it's a different story. Then Quavo released a song, he was talking about breaking it down. Okay, heard that. You addressed it. So I keep the same energy for anybody that I like. You know what I'm saying? I want to stop right there and talk about that for a moment. That's in my top 3 biggest pet peeves. That's in my top 3 biggest pet peeves. Probably not even 3. It's got to be 2 or 1. I don't like when people, or we as a culture, don't keep the same energy. And what I mean by that is our principles are not consistent across the board. And generally speaking, or in this particular context, when it comes to people that we like. I like Murder Mook. When he said that you're more hypocritical than a dying hippopotamus, that's trash. Even though it made sense. I get it. That's trash. You feel me? I like Migos when on one of the songs off the Rich N-Word timeline where they had a song called Move, and Quavo was like, he made the moon sound like a cow, saying move like that. That's trash. I don't like that. I'm not going to make an excuse, or I'm not going to just sweep it under the rug because I like, you know what I'm saying, I'm a fan of your music. Or I'm a fan of your acting, or whatever the case may be. So I'm just not a fan of not keeping the same energy. If somebody released, you know what I'm saying, this information that Jay-Z had all of these albums, like let's just say Biggie wrote Reasonable Doubt, let's just say that, or Biggie wrote 10 songs of Reasonable Doubt. that would change the perspective of how I look at Jay-Z. And that goes without saying. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Drake and this element of his career, my just question is, what are we doing? And the last note I want to say on that is, and this is not even necessarily to the LGBTQI community, but we as a culture, when we seen Lil Wayne kiss Baby in the mouth, we was like, yo, this is Wayne, we rocking with it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to just draw attention to, I'm saying we, even if that's not my own personal feeling towards it, that's the general consensus in the culture, which I'm a part of, so I say we. So we let it rock. We gave it a pass. So then when Young Thug came out wearing a dress, you know what I'm saying, wearing a Hooters shirt, blah, 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 he's doing the whole 9 yards. We was killing him in the culture at a point in time. We were criticizing Young Thug for that. We can't criticize somebody that when it was our turn, when it was somebody that we liked, we let it rock. The same thing with LeBron going to Miami. I'm not going to criticize KD for then going to Golden State. If LeBron James is the king, if he's the number one player in the world, he's number 1 or 2 all undisputed all time in the history of the NBA, and you go to another superstars team, anybody can do it. You're setting the precedent. The precedent now has shifted. So I'm not going to criticize anybody else that comes behind it and does that. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just saying all that to say, when it comes to Drake and this element of ghostwriting and style stealing, and we are okay with that, that's an issue for me in my personal opinion, because that goes against the principle of hip-hop. But at least we'll be laying, you know what I'm saying, we'll be coming to some type of understanding, because in my reality, that takes away from a level of authenticity that I get from your music. And so I'll pause that right there. And so let's now get into the album. So first off, I was not a fan of the album cover. Certainly not a fan, really, at all. Like when I first seen the album cover, like it was floating around a few days before the album released, I was like, okay, that's just to get people talking. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be going around all over social media. You know what I'm saying? People are going to be talking about it. But that's not going to be the actual album cover. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up, I was born in 89. So it's like I grew up in a time where it's like, yo, your album cover actually like, it meant something. Because when people was going to buy CDs. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen it, I'm like, okay, it's just a troll. It's not going to be the real album cover. So then when I got up that day, I forget the exact release date, was it like last Friday, something like that. So I get up on Friday and I see that and I'm like, this album cover is trash. Like, why would he do that? Now the brother was like, and I do want to sidestep this real quick. This is going to be a little bit longer because I have a lot of things to break down with the Drake album, because it's just, I don't want there to be controversy. You know what I'm saying? I want it to just be clear. Brother was like, on the Joe Budden podcast, brother was like, yeah, Drake can do that. His album's called Certified Lover Boy. You got these emojis of women pregnant on the cover. That makes sense. He didn't say that exact part, but he was like, that was what he was like alluding to. I'm not going to bend my opinion or my perspective based on what is acceptable to others. And when I say others, I mean generally speaking. We live in a world today where anything goes. You know what I'm saying? You got, what's bro name? Lil Nas X with the pregnancy pictures and all that. Like everything in this world is upside down, inside out. You feel what I'm saying? So when you see certain things, It said in scripture, the devil makes evil fair seeming. That's in the Holy Quran. That's a part of the tactics of Satan. You know what I'm saying? To make, when you're doing evil, make it seem fair. Make it seem like, oh, it's all right. You can do that. Whatever God say do, the devil say, no, whatever God say don't do, the devil say, yeah, you can do that. That's the world that we're living in, where anything goes. So when you see certain things that you might be like, okay, no, I'm not feeling that. Or maybe not even not feeling it, but it's like, oh, okay, that's a little different. Shock factor, so to speak. You can go in your mind and you start rationalizing it. You're like, well, okay, doing this and this for that purpose. Okay, cool. No. We have to have integrity as, we have to have integrity as the consumers, because we set the tone for the culture. Dave Chappelle said, he said on a comedy joint, he said, if a brother could have a woman in a cardboard box, he'd do that. He only buys expensive clothes, expensive home and cars because that attracts women. So it's like so pretty much just saying is like, the consumer sets the tone for what the producer produces. So if we make certain things acceptable, then it's like, and then we allow our rationale to go down dark roads, so to speak. We begin to make acceptable these things that are just drastically too far outside of the box. We're talking about Drake, who I believe is, last time I seen, 34 years old, with an album cover of all emojis. First thing in your mind, you be like, well, okay, it's 2021. People like, we got to stop doing that. We have to set a standard. Anything can't just go in our culture. I'll move on from that. So not a fan of the album cover at all. Okay, so then getting into the song. So I listened to the Drake album. I think I listened to it 3 full times. Yeah, I would say I listened to it 3 full times. I'm going to go down the track list real quick. Champagne Poetry, I was a big fan of the sample. I'm not going to imitate it. I felt like I was real quick, but I'm not going to imitate it. But big fan of the beat on the on Champagne Poetry joint. I really like that a lot. So I'll say it here. This is where, again, the authenticity element comes into play when it comes to Drake's lyrics. So I'm pretty sure if you listen to this podcast, you know I'm a fan of Styles P, big fan of Styles P. One of the things, or we could say even also Jadakiss, who I'm a big fan of. One of the things that is attractive about Jadakiss or Styles P's bars is that there's a certain texture of authenticity that comes along with it. So when they talking about the streets, when they talking about certain types of movements in the lifestyle they live, we can connect the authenticity behind it. So it gives it a little bit of a different type of energy, because we know that this is the type of lifestyle, this is the type of element that this person is bringing with authenticity behind it. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that on this song. I don't think he did, but he said people want to start the beef and then keep it rap still, something along those lines. Drake, you don't actually really want smoke with real rappers. Duck the Joe Budden smoke. You did the Duppy freestyle to the Pusha T, I guess that got it started. Pusha T did the story of Adidon. Yo, you hid. You went all in on Meek Mill. Meek Mill not really a lyricist. Meek Mill not one of them guys when it come to bars. Duck the Kendrick smoke. I remember when I heard Kendrick say on the BET Cypher, tuck the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes, and Drake didn't say nothing to that. I was like, okay, I'm good. He don't want no real smoke with somebody that is real. So when it's like, okay, now we in the street or whatever, and somebody I said, yo, it's like, think about like with Tay-Rock, he's like, Tay-Rock always almost about to fight somebody. He been in the most almost fights out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a person being in the street. They always get ready to start a fight, but when the person that they want to fight come outside, they not outside. But then when the person that they wanted to fight is gone, they back out. The other person's back outside and they talking crazy. Are we giving that person, like, are we rocking out with that? We're not gonna look at this person and be like, bro, you didn't want no smoke with his son when he was outside. Why are you talking crazy? So when I hear Drake say certain lines like that, again, a line he had I believe this was on, I think this was 7 a.m. on the bridal path. But he said, no, this could have been on the first track. I'm sorry if I don't remember exactly. But he said, imitation is not flattering, it's annoying to me. Bro, you imitate a lot of people's sound. So when you imitate people, is it all right? But when people imitate you, it's not? This is what I'm saying. Like now when I'm listening to your music, it reminds me of Claude on Life, where he's like, when Ray pulled out his dad's watch, his pocket watch, he was like, who you steal it from? Because he understands, he like, you know, Ray's a pickpocket. He up here he's like a scammer. He trying to get a little, you know what I'm saying, get rich quick scheme. So when he see this nice watch, he's like, yo, who you steal it from? So like, that's kind of like how I am, where it's like, when I hear a Drake song, when I hear like a melody or, you know what I'm saying, lyrics, I'm like, all right, who you steal it from? Unfortunately, that's the position that you put people in when you have the type of allegations against your career come to the surface. And that's why I ask, what are we doing with that? It's like, because if we're sweeping that under the rug, that's a head scratcher. Because we like Drake? Because we fans of Drake? Come on, man. We can't do that. I'm not doing that. I tell people all the time, I wish that what the Giants did, I wish like Green Bay did it. Or, you know what I'm saying, like some other team did it. Because then when I talk about it, it's not looked at like, oh yeah, here go Tony, he's a Giants fan, so of course it's what he gonna always go to it. I wish it was another team, because then I would just change the perspective. I would imagine. So those little lines like that, it pulls me out of being immersed into your sound. Because I'm like, hold on, what? Like I said, when Quavo got his chain snatched, you see it on camera, and then you go back and listen to them talk about, yo, you try to touch me, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do this, boom, boom. You're like, hold on a second, bro. It took Quavo to make the song addressing what happened before I'm like, okay, all right, I heard you, bro. You got it. Then now we back on regularly scheduled programming. You know what I mean? So that element is an overarching thing for me when it comes to Drake's music. The authenticity. It's hard for me to get into your character, because these things they're detractors for me. But even still, when I listen to a song, I'm still listening to it like, okay, I want to hear if it's going to be a banger. What lines that I like, I believe this was on 7 a.m. on the bridal path. He said, no, this is on No Friends in Industry, I believe, where he said, my mom used to be on disability, then she gave me disability, now she walking with her back straight. That's fire. That's hard. That's connection to Drake's life that I can see. Hard. I like when Drake says things like that. Also, he said on the Remorse, which I think is my favorite song on the album, he said, the pain is just a place where I go to get the bars still. Hard. I make the connection with that. I can get with that. But when you say things on like Champagne Poetry, it's like, I don't see nobody above me or something to that effect. I'm like, Jay-Z? Come on, bro. That, it just doesn't resonate. You know what I'm saying? We got like, I feel like I'm a person that I gotta hold people to a standard. Okay. So Poppy's Home, I wasn't really a big fan of that. When he's talking about juniors and things of that nature, I'm like, really, who is Drake's junior? But okay, I like somebody else could tell me that. I'm ready to hear that. Who's Drake's junior in the music game? I'm ready to hear that. I wasn't a big fan of that. Girls Want Girls. Not a fan of that song. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna close it up on this song. Okay, I'll go ahead and say this point. This is why I say, like, that's why I jokingly say CLB is for Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Or like Drake is for Instagram. Because a lot of things that Drake might say sounds good on Instagram or sounds good in a social media type of form. You know what I'm saying? Big controversy. Let me not say big controversy like I'm bigging myself up, but a controversial take that I might have that a person could say that I have is controversial is I consider Drake to be the McDonald's of music. Now, in my reality, is that a shot at Drake? I have to think about it. The reason why I have to think about it is because McDonald's is uber successful. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, in my reality, I would say yes, it is. Because, I mean, we all know that McDonald's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, it's really like not even considered food. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I consider Drake to be the McDonald's of music is because all junk foods, but this is why I say Drake is McDonald's, because McDonald's is probably the most ubiquitous fast food brand name in the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like kudos behind that. You know what I'm saying? But when you have, so it's like when you have McDonald's or you have whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever these like fast food or, you know what I'm saying, cheese poofs and all that, it's really only stimulating one part of the body, and that's really the brain. You're getting the hedonic, or you're getting the reward feeling when you have a Twinkie, or, you know what I'm saying, a slice of pizza, piece of chocolate. Oh man, yeah, this chocolate tastes great, makes you feel good. This chocolate milkshake makes you feel really good in my brain. But when it goes into your body, how it treats your body is bad. It's like all bad, really. If we're being honest about it, it's really all bad. And so people call like guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is I like Chick-fil-A. So it's like, I know that it's bad, but I really enjoy it. So it's really just a mental thing. So the reason why I consider Drake's music that is really because that's what his music, in my perspective, that's what it does. When he says, is that what on Girls Want Girls? Where he says, I might come, I might go, or he said something like that. I may come or I may not go. And he's like singing it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's like singing it. That just, it makes you feel good. It don't really necessarily mean anything. It's not necessarily tied to anything. You know what I'm saying? But when he says it, it's like, I feel good about that. It's like McDonald's French fries. That's the easiest parallel that I can consider when you're doing, like, when you get a fresh batch of McDonald's fries and they're nice and crispy and they're salty and whatnot. Oh, it's great. This is why I go back and forth on whether or not it's a shot, because McDonald's fries taste amazing. But what is it actually doing? Is it actually food? Is it serving a type of purpose other than the stimulation of the reward center of the brain? So that's how I feel about songs like Girls Want Girls. Like, I don't like it because what type of message are you really sending? That's a whole nother aspect of the conversation. You got to read Brother Wesley's book, The Pop Plot, the weaponization of hip-hop. How music is really being used to steer our people. But again, that's a whole nother element of the conversation. So that's why I consider Drake to be the McDonald's of music, because one, the artificial undertones of his music, based on the style stealing, based on the ghostwriting, you know what I'm saying? That element. And then he says things like on what is it? On Knife Talk, he says something poppy outside, got the Rolls Royce droppy outside, check the weather, it's looking real oppy outside. That doesn't make sense. It's artificial. It's a French fry. You know what I'm saying? It's a McFlurry. As soon as you're done with that McFlurry, you're like, man, why'd I eat all that? You know what I'm saying? So, moving on. I don't understand how you have a song that talks about girls want girls, and you have a song called In the Bible. Turning up, what did it say? Turning up every day, girl, don't say that in the Bible. I believe that's how one of the parts of the song go. Drake, what do you mean? Again, when you're saying that, it just sounds good. I would say it sounds good to an untrained ear. That's what I would say. People that's appealing to, we are not, like, you know what I'm saying? I want to say this respectfully. We don't mind having our perception dumbed down. Or we're voluntarily dumbing down our perception to enjoy something that we know is not that quality. Moving on to the next song. I'm going to say this. The first time I listened to the album, like I said, when I first got up on Friday, I put the album on. I actually had to turn it off after the fourth song. I was just like, yo, this is just, it doesn't sound good. But I knew everybody was going to be listening to it, so I knew I was going to do this review, so I had to get through it. So later that day, I was on a drive, and I went ahead and I put it back on. So we got Love All with Jay-Z. I'm a big Jay-Z fan, so hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where this is going to go. But, I mean, I thought Jay-Z's verse was good. I'm going to put that out. I'm going to say that from the rip. Like, Jay-Z's verse was good. I enjoyed it. It was like he was angry, and that was like a little funny-ish. You know what I'm saying? It was like a C tier Jay-Z verse, I feel like. I would say a nice C tier, solid C. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think the song was a banger. I like, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't like Light Up, wasn't like Pound Cake, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was banger. I thought the song was kind of low grade. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. And moving on. Fair Trade, popular song. I thought I like Travis Scott. I like when the beat switched up on the Travis Scott part. Excuse me. I thought that was really good. Not really a big fan of the song. I've been losing friends and gaining peace. Sound like a fair trade to me. Okay, Drake, you got it. That sounds cool. I can rock with that. Again, that's a nice caption. I rock with it. Not a huge fan of the song, but good though. I would say that might be like a nice C plus tier song on the album. And then all right, Way Too Sexy. Now, first off, I gotta say the video is hilarious. I'm late to the party on this, but Drake's funny, like comedic style of music videos, I think is awesome. I think Drake is definitely funny. I think he got a nice charismatic personality. I enjoyed the video. You know what I'm saying? I cracked up the whole time. I thought the Kawhi Leonard part was a little bit, I'm pretty sure awkwardness was intended, but I feel like even with the intention, I still think it was a little still too awkward. You feel what I'm saying? But still, all in all, a hilarious video. I really enjoyed the video a lot. But that being said, the song I really felt like was trash. The song was bad. I'm Too Sexy for This Lean. The I'm Too Sexys on the song were just weird. Young Thug's verse, weird. You know what I mean? Just not feeling the song really honestly and truly at all. You know what I'm saying? That song was very, very bad. Moving on. TSU. I'm trying to think of the proper way to really say it. I think this is what he was saying. I think this is what he was saying. We used to make porns back in the day, or something like that. We used to make porns. Now you got morals in S. So it's kind of like you're making fun of a person, or you're kind of mocking a person for having morals. I like some of the melodies in the song. I appreciated that. I thought the song was okay. Pipe Down, I feel like that was cool. I enjoyed again the melody of that song, the melodies that were in that song. I thought that was good. I'm just gonna move on. Yebba's Heartbreak, I thought was good. I agree with Joe Budden when he said, you gotta let it go a little bit longer. I rocked out with that. No Friends in the Industry, probably my second favorite song on the album. I'll probably say yeah. Oh, no, not it's my third favorite. You Only Live Twice, my second favorite song. But the thing about No Friends in the Industry, is I'm like, didn't you meet Wayne and Nicki Minaj in the industry? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm like, okay, Dre, you know what I'm saying? And then like my bro Dre, like he'll just put the owl emojis in the group chat. I'm just like, okay, all right, here we go. You know what I mean? Like, we don't hold our favorites to any type of standard. Okay, moving on. But yeah, No Friends in the Industry, I really enjoyed the beat. Like I said, I think that was a song where he had my mom used to be on disability, gave me disability, and she walked with her back straight. Very, very fire line from Drake. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a good song. Knife Talk was very bad. Except for Project Pat. Project Pat, yo, that's one of my favorite parts on the album. Yo, and how Project Pat does that little thing at the end where he uses where he does his voice like that. Then like you hear like 21 Savage try to do it. It's like, bruh, leave that to the brother that is the professional at it. It sounds weird when you do it. And then 21 Savage says Chopper hit him, turned him to a booty clapper. Like, what? Okay. And then, yeah, of course, the Oppie Outside, that's just not good. You know what I'm saying? 7 a.m. on the Bridle Path. Really enjoyed the beat, really enjoyed the vibe of this song a lot. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed a good amount of the lyrics on this song as well. I really feel like this was in my top 5 favorite songs on the album for sure. I enjoyed that song. Race My Mind, again, nice melody. I really appreciated that. Trying to get into the message behind it a little bit. I really wasn't connecting with it 100%, but melody was pretty good. Fountains with Thames, really enjoyed it. That's, again, in my top 5. Really, really enjoyed that song. I like if Drake made an album of songs like this, I'll probably really be a really big fan of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's just, he's singing, it's got a nice sound to it. This feature was great. I really enjoyed everything about this song, real talk. I have nothing negative to say about it. Get Along Better. I thought I liked this song on the first listen. Not a fan of it after on the second and third listen, to keep it 100. You know what I mean? Get along better with your friend. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody be like, okay, Tone, you didn't. All right, yeah, I'll touch on that. The person be like, all right, Tone, you ain't never experienced something like that. I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to experience something to be able to empathize or to be able to connect with it. And an example that I use is, we didn't experience chattel slavery, but we can connect with what it felt like. We can empathize with what it felt like. We weren't there, but we can empathize with it. You know what I'm saying? So then, yeah, moving on. Yo, You Only Live Twice. In my opinion, I think Ross had the best verse on the album. If not top 2. I mean, because the Remorse verse on the Remorse was hard. You know what I'm saying? So if a person put that in the top 2 or 3, I'm not mad at that at all. But Rick Ross, Patti LaBelle, who thought we would have sell pies, like, yo, he really, Ross went in on that. You know what I'm saying? Drake's verse was, I had to F a lot of girls to get a baby like this. I don't know what we doing with that. What are we doing with that? You know what I'm saying? Somebody let me know. You know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne's verse, good. I like Lil Wayne's verse. Was it my favorite Wayne, or was it something that I go back and I'm looking forward to when I hear the song? Not really. You know what I'm saying? Not really looking forward to that Lil Wayne verse like that. Not really. It was cool though. It was good. It was good Wayne. All right, respectfully. IMY2, respectfully. This was the worst song on the album to me. Well, I would probably say second behind Too Sexy. Respectfully. I know my bro Dre is a big Cudi fan. And I love Cudi as well. Not to the extent that the people that I know that like Cudi, but I'm a really big fan of Kid Cudi. This song was really, really, really not good. It was a hard, every time I got to this song as I'm listening to it, it was just difficult to hear. Respectfully. Effing Fans, not noteworthy. I'm just going to skip ahead. And The Remorse. Man, this is when Drake has certain things like this in his songs, I like. I just appreciate this when you're giving me real tangible elements of Drake. It's not just, you know what I'm saying? Fish fillets. You know what I'm saying? I can get attached to songs like this. Really appreciate The Remorse. That was a song that I was going to frequently, or I appreciated frequently when I listened to the album. So whenever you do a review, typically you give a rating. They say like in like when I listen to UK music, they be like, nobody rates you, like nobody like gives you a rating because like you don't rate. You're not, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you're a person that's just not resonating enough to even get a rating. Respectfully, that's how I feel about this album. I just feel like it doesn't rate. Like I feel like it's just like my shoulder just shrugs. So I'm like, if I had to put a number. Also, one of the things that I do also when I listen to an album, I think about how I think it's going to age. Now, obviously, it's a prediction. I don't know how it's going to age and things of that nature, like for sure. But I don't think this album is going to age well really at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't think 3 years from now in 2024, I don't think we're going to be listening to Certified Lover Boy. You know what I'm saying? Other than the hardcore fans of Drake, the stans of Drake. Like, I like battle rap. So, like, they just did the Civil War card, had Lil Soul Twerk on it, had Lady Caution versus Coffee, you know what I'm saying? A couple other, I think it was Luke Castro versus Jack Boy was on there. Now, I don't pay for the app for my, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into all that. Like, I paid for the app for a long time. Not really a fan of the app really at all. So I watch battles on Reddit. So even so, I'm saying all that to say, I have the ability to watch battles for free. I watch battles for free maybe once. I'm not watching a lot. Like, I'm not watching 90% of battles. When the Summer Madness card comes out, this will be one of the few times where I watch the entire card. I'm not a fan of, I'm a fan of battle rap, but I'm not an uber fan of it, where I watch all the battles. I'm watching the battles more than once, more than 2 times, you know what I'm saying, et cetera, et cetera. Like, battles are just not quality enough to, one, watch all the different types. It's too many battlers. I don't want to say it's too many battlers, but it's too many battlers that are not rewatchable or even watchable one time. You know what I'm saying? And even if I watch the battle one time, I'm more than likely not gonna go back and watch it again unless it's like when the John Surf come out. I'm gonna watch it when it come out on the day when the card goes down. Then I'm gonna go back and watch it again. Might watch 3 times. Mook versus Reed, I might do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even a fan of Surf. But I know that with this battle with John and Surf, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great battle. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Barring a choke from Surf, it's going to be a great battle. So when it comes out, he's going to have great material. So when it comes out, I'm going to watch it. Like I said, I might watch it 2 more times after that. But that's not what the majority of battle rap is for me. So when I say that about aging well, if you a Drake fan, you might go back and listen to Erase My Mind or Girls Want Girls. You might go back and listen to these type of songs. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying I don't think the culture is really going to be listening to and referencing this album years down the line. I don't think it's going to age very well. You know what I'm saying? If I had to rate it, and again, I don't really have a number. I did after the first listen. But as I got into it, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It was dwindling for me. You feel what I'm saying? Yo, I got it at like a 3 or 4 out of 10. In my heart of hearts, I really have it like a 2 or 3 out of 10. There are a lot of bad songs on here. There are a lot of bad, questionable bars on this album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not quality. And that really and truly, that's really where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? I was looking forward to listening to what he had to offer. Like I said, I really appreciated the songs like Fountains with Thames. You know what I'm saying? Even, I really like the Remorse, Only Live Twice. In Too Deep, I think I skipped over that song. The melody of that, it was cool. It was good. I liked it. You know what I'm saying? The Houston thing, that sound, it's cool. I rock with that. As a project, man, I was just not a fan. I think the second time I listened to it, I had to turn it off after the first 4 songs. I think only the third time, and I was doing a route for Amazon, where I actually listened to the whole album literally straight through from one to the end of the album. I had to ask a question because the bars on this album were highly questionable. I had to ask bros, I'm like, was Drake a lyricist? My answer to that, after breaking it down, looking at him juxtaposed to the lyricist in the game, I'm like, no, Hell no. And then somebody tweeted, Drake is a legendary artist, but not a hip-hop artist because nobody's really going to have him in their top 5 hip-hop. I have to agree with that. I have to agree with that because he just doesn't strike enough, or he doesn't check enough boxes. Shout out to Royce. He doesn't check enough boxes in the hip-hop category for me to have him in that type of conversation. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, if somebody put Drake in their top 5, yo, it's really just about the popularity. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. You know what I mean? Because he just doesn't. What about Drake's game, or what about what Drake does is really good on a real level? If somebody really gonna, you're talking about the best dishes of all time, are you gonna say a number 2 from McDonald's? No. Come on, man. We're not even being realistic at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're really talking about artistry. And again, I'm just going to say, respectfully. I'm not trying to come at how a artist makes you feel. Like, there was a Caucasian individual on Twitter that was like, he was like tearing up. I'm not mocking this person. I really empathize. He was tearing up a little bit. He was like, man, this Drake album made me feel like I was 15 again. You know what I'm saying? I felt that. I could see that. That's very personal. I respect that. When we being honest, like, come on, man. So, yeah, maybe I might have somebody that really was a fan of the album come on, they could talk about it. But that was really my take on it. I don't necessarily really rate it. If I had to give it a rating, I would say, and I like to use Street Fighter, but fighting game terms too. Like, this was a D tier album. This is D tier. I would give it a 2 or a 3 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? And especially, like I said, even compared to Drake, it wasn't great, which I kind of hear that frequently. Like, that was brothers was saying on the Joe Budden podcast. Also, in relationship to all the other music that's out there right now, and if we're talking about in the hip-hop genre only, I mean, we got Nas' album, we got Little Sims, we got Dave, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there that really have put out great bodies of work this year in the hip-hop category, and this doesn't rate. So, I mean, yeah, man, you guys can follow me, man, on Twitter at TechBuildingPod. Also on YouTube, Tech Building Network, man. We could talk about it. I like to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I've been feeling like people, I don't know, people don't like to talk to me about things. They kind of be like, maybe I come off as a know-it-all. Maybe my energy is not inviting. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But we could talk about it. I'm down for the dialogue, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's really how I felt about it. Hopefully we get another offering from Drake. But like I said, if you drop an album with all songs that sound like fountains, I'm going to be a big fan of that. I already know I'm going to be a big fan of that because that's going to be great. You know what I mean? But yeah, next we got coming up, we got the Donda review. We'll get into that. So yeah, I'd like to thank anybody that stuck around to the end of this episode for sure. I appreciate all the support. And man, it's been another episode of the Tech Building Podcast. When the devil tries to keep you down, you always show up with the strategy, man. Peace and blessing, everybody.